Hi, welcome back. I've just got an hour off from work, so I thought I'd come into the wood that's near where I work and just do a bit of a briefing for you about how things have gone so far with the reboot. Sorry that it's not been every couple of days as we originally thought that it would be, because actually editing off this film and getting things organised with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everything else just took a bit longer than we thought to actually get running and get going and learning how all the different softwares to be used. I've got a bit of help with a friend who's doing some editing for me, so that's good, so I don't have to do everything like from the scratch. But so anyway, so we're a bit behind, but we're getting back on track. As far as the reboot's concerned, we also had problems with that. It wasn't plain sailing, wasn't as easy as we originally thought. The first week where we were actually doing the reboot, what was happening was I had a bit of a bad time at work, okay, and knocked me for six a bit, and a couple of other things, and really just as the time I was getting my head together to actually start decreasing all dairy and everything else and getting rid of processed meats and everything else, didn't work, right? And no word of a lie, but my head wasn't in the right place at all. Was trying to give up smoking as well, which didn't work. In fact, it ended up I was actually smoking more. So that was for the first reboot week, okay? So but about day 5 or day 6 into the reboot week, okay, I actually started to get back on track, and so that was good, and my whole demeanour, my moods got better. Now, one thing I can't be exactly sure of is whether my moods were helped or not by the different foods that I was having at the time. Something that I didn't think of at the time. I just thought, okay, I'm just not in a good place at the moment in my life. Well, in my life I am, that's not exactly fair. But just wasn't in a good place at the time. A couple of things were getting me down. But of course you never know when the foods or the various things you're taking do affect this thing. Anyway, so after about day 5 or day 6, things started looking better. Okay, so we started to get back on track, and we started to decrease all the saturated fats and all the processed meats and the dairy and everything else, and started to get back on track. And so as we hit the first week of the actual reboot, which was to actually have no meat whatsoever, and was just then to have no meat whatsoever, just basically having vegetables, okay, a couple of shakes a day, and that kind of thing. So that started to go back on track, so that was good. Also managed to give up smoking. Now, I'd tried to give up smoking a couple of times before, and again my head wasn't in the right place. And giving up smoking for me, I don't know for other people, but for me isn't a physical thing, it's very much a mental thing. And when my head's in the right place, it's a doddle. And sure enough, it was a doddle. I just packed it in. So, okay, fair enough. It's only been, well, it's been 7 days actually. 7 days. It's been a week, but I actually had no problems, not even thinking of going back to smoking or anything else. So that's absolutely fine. So that's that. So just in time for the proper diet proper. So what happens there is now we're having a couple of shakes a day. That isn't as easy as it sounds either. And these are the practical aspects. Yes, I've bought a very nice expensive juicer, which, as you'll see in a couple of later videos, works an absolute treat, really is marvellous. But more to the point, it actually makes a lot of noise. So when you're trying to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and trying to make a couple of shakes, you end up waking the whole house up if you're not careful. So that has its own problems. The other thing is, if you're making a juice, you can only keep it maximum overnight in the fridge, because after that it sort of doesn't taste the same. And some of them don't taste that fantastic to begin with. But again, this is all about adjusting the taste buds anyway. Total lack of sugar, total no caffeine, all the other things that aren't good for me have gone. So that's good. But yeah, so if I'm not eating or if I'm not having the shakes, I'm definitely keeping up with the vegetables, so having no meats and stuff like that. So that's working. A couple of other things. It's only when I was talking with somebody else the other day that I actually realised that my energy levels have changed. Now, what's happening now, or what used to happen, was I would get up in the morning, I'd have a couple of cups of coffee, etc., get off to work, and by about 10 o'clock my energy level would be dipping, and I'd sort of not be nodding off, but I'd be feeling really drowsy. So therefore, hit the coffee again, with a couple of sugars in it as well, because I like my coffee sweet, and so that's it. And that would carry on the rest of the day. Every few hours, that's how it would go. Now, over the last few days, I've realised there are no dips. And in fact, this morning, this is Saturday now, Saturday the 11th, I think it is, and I've had to go to work. I do a 12-hour shift Saturday and Sunday, because I'm going to have the rest of the week off, ready for the diet proper. Anyway, so I get up at 5 o'clock this morning, ready to go to work for 7, all right? And I'm expecting that it's going to be really difficult, because I haven't had a lot of sleep, because we went to bed later last night by about, we went to bed late last night by about 12, and of course I didn't get to sleep till about past. So there we are in a situation where I've only had like 4.5 hours sleep, and I'm supposed to be doing 12 hours work as well. Okay, but actually I got up before the alarm clock, and then as I got up I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to have coffee. How the hell am I going to manage without coffee? Not a problem. Within about 15 minutes, I was awake. No ups and downs. And in fact, it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've been steadily alert all the time. This coffee thing, it's not as good as it first seems. Actually, your body starts to rely on it, and you're going up and down like a bleeding yo-yo. I used to be having loads and loads of coffees and if not teas with sugar all the way through the day, just to try and pep me up. And actually, I'm a lot better off. Now, we haven't even started the diet properly. We've just cut out all the silly things, you know? We haven't even really started to do a lot of work. Needless to say, the other benefit is I've lost 3.5 kilos. So I'm down to 92 something kilos. So that's not a bad thing either. Not that I can exactly tell, you know, by looking at me or anything else. But yeah. So a couple of other things. You might have seen on one of the other videos we got a heart rate monitor, and we got a blood pressure monitor and an oxygen meter, which we're going to show you in the next couple of videos how to use. So they're really, really good. One of the other things is did some research in, we were supposed to measure blood sugars and all that kind of thing for the diet, just to see how we're going on. Sadly, we didn't manage to get one of those. A really nice, decent one is about 800 quid, which surprised me. A not so decent one is about 40 or 50 pound, or anywhere up to 70 or 80 pound. Which wasn't bad, but of course all the little strips that you have to use was working out to be about £100 a month. So when I went to some medical people and asked them what the deal is, they said, well, actually, because most people have them on prescription who need them, and if they need them they get them free, so it doesn't really matter. And it's only people like me who are doing experiments and one thing or other that actually have to pay for it. So anyway, so there you go. So we may not be getting some of those, but we'll have to see in this next week. But having said that, we've got no measurement of what was the sugar levels were like before and the cholesterol, so won't be that much use. We may decide it's not worth it. So yeah, so we may decide in the end not to have a measure all the cholesterol and everything else. I still think it would be a good idea, because I think it's a good idea to check to see how that part of my system is going anyway, even if we don't know what it was exactly like 3 or 4 weeks ago before I started this. But to be honest, for the last 3 or 4 months I've been slowly reducing the things that I knew weren't good for me, so I haven't been suddenly springing it on myself. I've been working this diet, this Reboot, for quite a while, and I think that's half the reason why this is different. This is not a diet to just lose weight. This is a way of life. So I don't want to go through all the stuff I've been going through before with all my health problems. This is not just I lose weight and then I can start eating pies and drinking coffee and alcohol and everything else again. This is because I want to stay fit for the rest of my life, whatever little there is left of it or whatever, because it's definitely not funny the way things are going. So that's the difference. Anyway, like I say, this is just a quick catch up. Anything for the over 50s, this is the channel for. Will please put any comments underneath, and remember to subscribe, click down at the bottom, okay, and like it or not like it. Just give us some comments and tell us how we're doing. That'll be great. Okay, speak to you later. Bye bye.